Here are the 10 things you need to know before you move to Rome, Georgia. The first one is that sometimes these small town cities like Rome, they have this cute feel and they've got like a lot of character and charm, but oftentimes that means that these cities are like outdated or that they have poor infrastructure. And I would say that Rome kind of fits in that category. For many people, the city of Rome has that outdated feel. So it's that kind of balance. Like if you're looking for a newer city, a newer suburb with modern things and modern infrastructure, then Rome is not really the right place for that. Rome is a city that has that historic charm, and the city has done a great job of preserving that historic feel. But sometimes preserving that historic feel means that they don't do some modernizing that they need to do. And so it's kind of a balance, and certainly something that you really need to think about if you plan on moving to this city. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living. We put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the suburbs of Atlanta. Number 2 on the list of the 10 things you need to know before moving here is that Rome is very far from Atlanta. And while we often talk about suburbs of Atlanta on this channel, many people would say that Rome is not really even a suburb of Atlanta. It's so far away. And so this is not an area where you're going to like live in Rome and work in Atlanta. That would be a crazy, stupid long commute, not really practical. I mean, you're looking at 2, maybe 3 hours if there's terrible rush hour one way. And so this is not a suburb of Atlanta. It's more so like a standalone city that you're gonna like live in Rome and like everything you do is in Rome or maybe some of the surrounding even smaller towns. And so certainly something to think about. Like it's not really, you're not gonna have the big city amenities of Atlanta if you live in Rome. Number 3 on the list is that the schools here, the public schools in Rome, are kind of spotty. There are some great public schools here, but some of them are not so good. And so you really need to do a lot of homework. There are lots of great resources for finding information about the public schools in any city. I prefer greatschools.org is one of the best ones. Also niche.com is another one that you can find the public school ratings. But there are lots of sources and resources for these public school ratings. And so you really got to take them with a grain of salt. You know, like for example, with greatschools.org, I think there is a lot of influence from the parents of the schools on that website. I think they kind of can somehow affect the rating of the school. And so, you know, you got to really look at all of the ratings, all of the sources, and kind of come up with your opinion based on all of the information. Number 4 on the list of the 10 things you need to know before moving here is that the downtown area in Rome is excellent. If you're planning on moving to this city, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'm a local real estate agent here in Metro Atlanta. Even if you just have a question about what it's like to live here, thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. But the downtown area in Rome has got lots of great mom and pop shops, lots of locally owned restaurants and shops. And so this is a big highlight for many people who live in Rome and even visit Rome. My family and I were recently in Rome, and that was really like one of the best parts. Actually, that was like the only part of Rome that we visited during that time, because that's where so many things are. There were hotels there. My son had a baseball game in the area, and so it was all very close to the city center of Rome. Number 5 on the list has to do with Berry College. Berry College is the college that's there in Rome, and one of the biggest things, or one of the biggest reasons why so many people move to that city is for the college. And so very often, if you are relocating here to Metro Atlanta and you're relocating specifically to Rome, oftentimes it has to do with Berry College. If you're just looking for a Metro Atlanta suburb and you're wanting to work in Atlanta and have lots of employment opportunities and options and things like that, Rome is not really the city for that. Very often, Berry College is why many people move to that area. But another reason why people move to this area is to get away from the big city. If you're wanting to be in a small town that has that historic feel, where you have lots of land for your home and you have plenty of space between your neighbors, then for that reason, Rome is a great suburb to move to. Although, again, it's not a suburb, it's just a city. Not a suburb of Atlanta. Number 6 on the list has to do with all of the outdoor and green space that we have here in this city. Etowah River Trail is in Rome, also Jackson Hill Trail, Heritage Park. Certainly lots of options when it comes to parks and green space. In fact, the Etowah River is one of the largest rivers, if not the largest river, that goes through the city of Rome. And this river alone provides lots of outdoor activities. Even like along the banks of the river, there's lots of parks and green space. People often go fishing or canoeing or kayaking in the river, super common. And so this is certainly one of the highlights of the city of Rome. Number 7 on the list of the 10 things you need to know before you move here is why it was called Rome, which is kind of weird with the city of Rome, Italy, and then why we have a Rome, Georgia. It turns out that the city of Rome was built on 7 hills, which is similar to Rome, Italy, and also has 3 rivers that all come together in the city there. Those rivers are the Etowah River, the Oostanala River, and the Coosa River. Apparently, when they were trying to decide on a name for the city, they put some names in a hat, and Rome was one of them, and they were like, oh, well, it's kind of similar to Rome, Italy, so that's how they came up with the name Rome. Seems like kind of a stretch to me, but whatever you gotta do, I guess. Number 8 on the list is a big one for many people. There is lots of healthcare options in the city of Rome. There is Piedmont Urgent Care. Piedmont is one of the largest healthcare providers in the state of Georgia. Also Advent Health Redmond Hospital and Atrium Health Floyd Medical Center. So those are 2 major hospitals within the area of Rome. And this also means that there are lots of ancillary medical and healthcare facilities around that area, around those hospitals. So certainly lots of healthcare options within the city. You don't have to go all the way to Atlanta if you need a hospital or an emergency room. Plenty of options for that within the city of Rome. And that also means that there are also healthcare employers, lots of jobs within the healthcare industry in the city of Rome. Number 9 on the list of the things you need to know before you move here is one of the biggest factors why many people move to this area is for the home prices. The home prices in Atlanta just continue to go up every year, and it's outrageous, and it's crazy how quickly the home prices are rising in the city of Atlanta and around Atlanta. But Rome is very different in that you can still find affordable homes in Rome. You're not having to break the bank for a 4-bed, 3-bath home. Super affordable homes in this area. Again, to find that small town, quiet living and have homes that are not going to break the bank, this is one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reason, why so many people choose the city of Rome. And then number 10 on the list of the things you need to know before you move here is that there's certainly some big downsides to living in this city. Every city's got its good and its bad, and it's important really to have the whole picture when you are planning on moving to a new city or a new state. You really got to have the whole picture to understand what you're getting yourself into. So I've made an entire video outlining the pros and the cons of living in Rome. You can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next one.